If you know me pretty well, you've probably already seen this story. If you don't know me, this story is from 2020, April, sort of peak pandemic. And yeah, as the title says, I was 20 years old at the time and I had a stroke. So, how does a healthy 20-year-old end up having a stroke? No one really knows. It was due to something called a brain AVM. I don't know the full name of that, but pretty much it is when the arteries and the veins in the brain get tangled up and they can build a lot of pressure. And in my case, they ruptured, which led to me having the brain aneurysm or stroke. I was in the hospital for about 2 weeks, and in that time, they performed, I think, a 2 or 3 day brain surgery, which, given the circumstances, went pretty well. When I got home, I looked like that. I think I had about 60 staples across this part of my head. You can probably still see the scar. Maybe not so much right now, but when I trim the sides down, the scar is definitely still there. And it was a scary time. I think for me, what was sort of heartbreaking was that I was having a really fucking good semester up until then. Um, I was convinced that that was going to be my best academic year since being in college. I was a sophomore at the time. Had a little bit of a rough beginning freshman year, just sort of adapting to the new life, being in a new city, um, managing my workload. But sophomore year, that semester specifically, it kind of felt like I figured things out. Um, and then this happened right around the week, right around the week of finals, and as you can probably guess, I was not able to take my finals. So pretty much those 14 weeks I spent busting my ass trying to get my GPA back up, all amounted to nothing. And while that shouldn't have been my top priority at the time, it was, and I couldn't let that go. But after being home for a while, I realized, hey, I'm not the same person anymore. I don't know. I had little challenges, little and big challenges. So speech became particularly more difficult. I couldn't quite articulate the things that I was thinking. Reading became very stressful. Just general communication. I mean, even things like walking were more complicated. And I didn't really have a clear timeline on how long it would take for me to recover, if I were to ever recover. This really made me question whether or not I'd be able to return to school the following semester, or if I would ever be able to return to school. It was a scary moment in my life, and I was blessed enough to have great people in my corner. One of my roommates at the time paired me with his mom's best friend, who was an occupational therapist, and she sort of met me where I was at. And together we created an action plan for the summer so that I could do things that would help me sort of rebuild all these lost skills. She helped me with exercises to help with my memory, exercises to help me read better, write better, and just help my overall communication skills. And by the time the following semester had started, I wasn't quite sure if I was ready to be back in school, but my mindset was that what better way to help speed up this recovery than being in an academic environment where I'll always be having to read, always be having to engage with my peers. And it actually worked out pretty well. I received my first 4.0 GPA semester, and while I understand that's a big feat for any student, for me, I felt like it meant so much more given everything that just happened. So that's me at my graduation in 2022. As you can imagine, I felt very accomplished in this moment. I think it was a testament to all the hard work I had put in to get this far, despite the setbacks and the challenges I had along the way, specifically in 2020. Um, Here we are in 2024 now, and I've actually just been admitted to Harvard's Graduate School of Education, where I will be pursuing a master's degree in education policy in hopes of reforming the education system to make it more equitable for students who, like me, represent a ton of different underrepresented backgrounds. So I hope you guys follow my journey through it all.